Just now, I went to see a book exhibition, UMBC building, at Swami Vivekananda's book exhibition. And there I noticed a very nice saying by Swami Vivekananda. He says, "They alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive." Similar saying, I think you have heard in Dhammapada, the Buddha saying. Can you remember? Appamado amatapadang, pamado machunu. Do you know the meaning? Can you remember now? Those who are not active are like this. Those who are active will last forever. The Buddha says. That means we must be active. In which way? By doing some service to others. Not only for our own benefit. That is the purpose of our life, or our living. Otherwise, no purpose. I always repeat this. We cannot serve ourselves without serving others. When we serve others, we serve ourselves. Always remember this. Then I have mentioned a Sanskrit saying. These are very beautiful, meaningful sayings. Although the language is not so easy for you to remember, but the ideas are very important. Paratha charyaya phalanti vriksha. Trees bear fruits for the sake of others. Trees never enjoy fruits. Because of that, the trees have to suffer. People go and break branches and throw stones and disturb the tree. There are so many other trees, never bear fruit, nobody wants to disturb. This is the lesson here. When we are going to do some service to others, definitely there will be some problem. Criticism, accusation, disturbances, obstruction. Remember this. So you should not get fed up. This is the nature of the wicked world. Why those great people had enemies? Buddha, Jesus, as religious figures. Then about Socrates, Mahatma Gandhi, they were great people who really wanted to serve the mankind. Because of that, some of them had to face untimely deaths. Although attempts were made, no one could kill the Buddha. This is the nature of the wicked world. Paratha charyaya vahanti nadya. Rivers carry water, overflowing here and there. But rivers never enjoy water. All the other living beings and plant life and everything will be benefited because of that. Paratha charyaya duanti gava. Cows produce milk. You know very well cows never drink milk. for the sake of others. Always produce good. Work hard and suffer because of it. Paratha chariyaya satam hi jivan. The purpose of our living is to do some service to others. Remember this. Now that's what Swami Vivekananda says here. They alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. Today, Dhammapada, page 112, stanza 118. Punyance puriso kaira. Punyance puriso kaira. Kairate tam punapunang. Tam hi chandang kairata. Sukho punyasa uchchayo. Punyante puriso kaira. Kairate tam punapunam. Tam hi chandam kairata. Sukho punyasa. Meaning, should a person perform a meritorious action, he should do it again and again. He should find pleasure therein. Blissful is the accumulations of merit. So today we had to discuss about this word, punya. I told you, in the English language we use the word merit, but this word never gives the meaning of the Pali word, punya. Can you remember the way how I have explained the difference between punya and kusala? Is there anyone who can tell me? These two words we always use. In English only one word, merit. Yes. Punya and kusala. Anyone who can remember? Professor, can you remember? Tabale. Same action we can direct either this way or that way, to make it punya or kusala, merit. Now remember today, next time when I ask, cannot keep quiet. Chittang punati ti punya, definitions of the word, punya. In Sinhalese language we say ping, very easy to remember. Ping means punya, merit. The other word is kusala, kusal. Ping and kusal. Whatever we do with good intention, with pure mind, with confidence and devotion, it will become punya or gain merit. But the motivation, intention differ. You do a lot of meritorious deeds by aspiring to enjoy your worldly life, either as human beings or in Devaloka as Devas or divine bliss. That is the purpose of your performance of merit. That is punya. That is merit. But this aspiration can be means to an end. That means after experiencing the good result, there is nothing to remain. Finish. But kusala is different. Kusala means a skillful deed. The things that we do with deeper understanding, by realizing the significance or the meaning, with good intention. But the motivation differs. The motive is not to enjoy worldly life, not to become rich, not to go to heaven and enjoy life. Because we know there will be an end to all these things. After that we get into trouble. Kusala, we can divert in this way. I am doing these meritorious deeds to reduce my selfishness, reduce my anger and jealousy, reduce my craving, then purify the mind. It will become kusala, not punya. By the virtues of this merit, you get the chance to continue your knowledge, your understanding, your wisdom and noble life again and again and again. Continue. See the difference. Now you are giving a dana. By giving this dana, you aspire to be born in a very rich family to enjoy your life in the next world. If not, to go to heaven and spend a longer period to enjoy your life. But what will happen to you after that? There will be an end to it. Again and again you had to accumulate marriage. No end to it. But if you do this without any ulterior motive, without any worldly, material gain, just to cleanse your mind, to purify your mind, to develop your understanding, then you can continue this until you find your final salvation. Now you can see the difference. Here the Buddha saying is this: Punyance puriso kaira. Kaira te tang puna puna, again and again. Because of that. Now within this lifetime, you do lot of meritorious deeds as punya. Because of these meritorious deeds, you experience very good result within this lifetime and hereafter. But how long can you carry on the effect or the merits for you to enjoy this life? That is why the Buddha says, do it again and again. Just like pocket expenses. You spend whatever you have in your pocket. If you do not earn, your pocket becomes empty. So the punya or the merits are like this. You earn, you perform meritorious deeds, you experience the good result. After that, you do not know what will happen to you if you have not accumulated more good karma. Now, devas who enjoy their worldly life, Brahmas who enjoy the peaceful life in Brahma world, also had to face the same fate. There will be an end. Because they are experiencing these good results due to their good karma that they have accumulated. These karmic effects or the result won't last long, will be ended. But Devas and Brahmas do not follow any particular religion. They do not perform meritorious deeds, just enjoy their life. But as human beings, we are very wise. We know. Today we are experiencing the good result, lead a contented life, while millions or billions of others are suffering, starving, dying. It is due to certain merits that we have done. In that case, we had to do more and more, perform more and more meritorious deeds for our journey, samsaric journey. Otherwise, we get into trouble. So many people have not realized this. Why there are so many discriminations, differences amongst the mankind? Why they had to face enormous sufferings and disturbances and worries due to various reasons? And who is responsible for that? It is difficult for us to believe that God is responsible for this. There is no reason whatsoever for God to create such unfortunate human beings to suffer in this world without any reason. When today's newspaper says in the African country, how many? 1,800 die a day, starving and due to cholera and other sickness. How many millions are dying like this? Then where is the Creator God? Who created them? Why does He want to hide? He is responsible for this creation. If they believe that they were created by the God, then what is the purpose of this creation? That is what we cannot understand. I told you, one Indian poet has written a beautiful poems in Hindi language. I cannot remember, but I know the meaning. It's very meaningful for us to think. He says, we were taught that we were created by God. Because of His creation, we are suffering here in this world for nothing. What do we gain in the end? Nothing but suffering. Because of this creation. In spite of that, we are also asked to worship Him. I really cannot understand why we should worship Him. Because we are suffering here because of His creation. If He kept quiet without creating us, there is nobody to suffer. Think for a while. What is the meaning of this thing? We glorify. Oh, God created us. God is great. God is great. Millions are dying without food, starving. Then where is their greatness? We cannot understand. The Buddha has given the answer. A young man known as Subha approached the Buddha and asked a series of questions about these problems, human problems. He said, some people can live up the maximum lifespan, and some others die immediately after giving birth. So I cannot understand what is the cause of it. Who is responsible? Some people work day and night like slaves. Even then, forever they remain as poor. They won't get even 3 meals a day. But many others get everything even without working for them. What is the cause of this? Some are very sick from their birth up to the last breath. Many others are very healthy. What is the cause of this? Who is responsible? Some people are very energetic, very dynamic, very strong. Many others are very weak, cannot walk also. What is the cause of it? Who is behind? Some people are very intelligent. They can understand things very easily. But many others are stupid. They cannot understand. These are the problems that I want to know. The cause. There must be something. The common belief is that God creates, God is responsible, will of God, act of God, His wills and this and that. But there are many who cannot agree, who cannot satisfy with this belief. Another well-known Sanskrit scholar says, Udyoginam Purusha Singha Upaiti Lakshmi Daivena Daiva Mitika Purusha Vadanti Daivang Nihatya Kurupa Purusha Mahatma Saktya Yatne Krite Yati Nusiddhyati Kotra Dosa. He says, many people depend on God for everything. Many people depend on their own karma. Many people depend on their fate or good luck. He says they are not courageous people. They are not intelligent people. And those who forget all these things, use their effort and energy and knowledge and understanding, work hard, they can achieve what they want without depending on God, without depending on their karma, without depending on fate or good luck or this or that. They are called Purusha Singha, lions of men. Purusha, men. Singha means lion. They are the lions of men, such courageous people. That means we should not surrender ourselves. We have to use our effort and energy. Don't think that we cannot think. When we come to religion, we stop thinking. Because religion teaches us your duty is to believe, not to think. The Buddha has taken the other. He says, you should not believe anything without thinking. You can understand, but you are so lazy to think. And religion also teaches, you cannot argue, you cannot doubt, your duty is to believe. Then you stop your thinking. Then how can you understand things? So the Buddha started to answer. The first question is, why some people can live up to the maximum of their lifespan, why others die when they are very young? The Buddha said, those who have destroyed others' life during their previous birth, whether humans or animals, living beings, those who have destroyed others' life, the next birth or thereafter, they had to face this short period. Only few days or few months or few years, because of the bad effect of destroying other living beings. And those who have abstained from this, those who have supported for living beings to exist, experience long life. That is the secret. So the God or devil or any other external agents are not responsible for that. If we die earlier, that is due to our own karma. If we can live up to the maximum of lifespan, also due to our own karma. So individually, we are responsible for that. So we have to learn this. Next one, why some people are very sick, sickly life from birth up to the last breath. Then the Buddha said, those who have hurt, disturbed, injured other living beings, the bad effect that they have to experience for their deeds is sickness. They have to face countless sicknesses throughout their life, one after the other. But we do not know that. Why we are sick? Why we were born like this, to suffer in this manner, in this way. We know very well God never created for people to suffer like this. No reason. Our own karma change our way of life. Then those who are very healthy, very seldom they get sicknesses. Then the Buddha said, those who have supported sick and provide medicine, attended to them, supported them, even giving even moral support, the merit that they gain by supporting sick, healthy life. That is why he said, Yo gilanam upatteya, so mam upatte. One who supports a sick person is just like supporting me. How we encourage this? When you go and support a sick person, the Buddha said that you are supporting me, supporting the Buddha. There was a monk, his name was Bakkula, the Buddha's time. He lived 160 years, healthy life. All the other monks come and ask this question: why this particular monk never gets sick? Always healthy. He is 160 years older. When the Buddha also died at the age of 80. Ananda, his disciple, lived 120 years. That is the maximum lifespan, 2,500 years ago. 120. Today I think gone down to 65. Average. We are going down and down and down and down. No one can stop this. Because our way of life, our mentality, immoral practices have become very common. People have no shame, no fear to commit any kind of wicked or immoral thing. Minds are polluted. Selfishness, craving, jealousy, anger, ill will increase, never reduce. When we develop worldly material things, worldly pleasure, worldly progress, and we also develop our craving, attachment, anger, jealousy, grudge and ill will. That is why all over the world, human beings are killing each other for nothing. Because of their anger, because of their jealousy, because of their greed, because of their selfishness, not because they have no food to eat. Shelter, clothing, medicine, everything. But they cannot tolerate. They want more power, more authority, and destroy other countries, kill others. Nasya loka vaddhano, advice given by the Buddha. You should not devote your time only for the progress of worldly material by neglecting your spiritual development. Today, no spiritual development. Material development, a spiritual degeneration. We are very advanced material, but our mentality are very poor. We increase evil forces when we were in primitive stage, not so advanced. Our jealousy, our anger, our craving, our selfish ideas were not so advanced at that time. When we develop the world to create more temptation, then we also increase all these things, like temperature. No one can stop this. So, declining, the lifespan is declining, going down and down and down. No one can stop this. We are responsible for that. The Dhammapada, the first saying, Mano Pubbangama Dhamma. Human mind is responsible for all these things. We simply say God and devils and some others, but mind can influence the whole universe, human mind. That polluted human mind can disturb the elements and energies and cosmic energies. Then the natural disasters, volcanic eruption, earthquake, fire, flood, drought, can take place due to polluted human mind. The Buddha mentioned this in Chakravarti Sihanada Sutra. Our poisonous mind, polluted mind, completely pollute the whole atmosphere. Then the elements also imbalance. Then the clashes, friction. We never think. The more we learn new things according to our scientific knowledge, the more we discover destructive things. Everything to destroy. This is the nature of the mind. Advices given by religious people, just ignore. They keep religion only for worshipping and praying. That's it. Anyone can do this. There is no difficulty. They don't want to go beyond that. They think they are very religious because they worship, they pray. But the founders of all these religions never satisfy with this. Whether we worship or not, what they wanted was for us to be good. That's it. If we are good, then we have kindness, honesty, sympathy, patience, tolerance, understanding, goodwill, all the good qualities. They are no more. Then where is religion? The Swami Vivekananda, just now I read his saying, he has revolutionized Hinduism in India. He said, Brahmin, who were very orthodox, he said, your God is not in your head, in your mind. Your God is in your cooking pot. Your God is in your kitchen, because they are very particular about their food. That is religion. Religious way of life to them. So they tried to revolutionize this kind of ideas to develop the man's way of thinking, understanding. So people are not ready to listen to religion. They want to change the religion according to their taste. What is happening to religion today? Observe unbiasedly, then you can see how people have incorporated so many their own practices, traditional practices, as religion. Religion is no more there. Only their traditional practices. They say this is religion, this is our religion. So the answer to this question, the Buddha says, those who support sick people by providing whatever you can, then as a result of these meritorious deeds, you gain the long life. Simply by asking somebody to pray for you to have long life doesn't work. You had to work for that earlier. The next question that he asked, why some people are very pretty and handsome and others are very ugly or horrible looking? This is a very sensitive question. It is true. Now, parents are very good, very handsome, very pretty. Some children are like monkeys. Why it is like that? Scientists are wrong in that they are what you call heredity or genes or genetic and these are all sort of things. It's not that. Not genes. Because the scientists have not learned anything about karma. They do not know anything. And very ugly parents, I have noticed, have produced very beautiful children. Because children are not actually produced by them, father and mother. They cannot produce children. They think they produce. They cannot produce. They support the child to come to this world and bring him and drop here. That is the only thing father and mother can do. The child has his own character, behavior, mentality, temperament, attitude, skill, everything. Not given by the father or mother. They cannot give mentality, their own. So the answer to this question, why some people are ugly? This question was asked by another lady, Visakha, very devout Buddhist lady. The answer given by the Buddha is this. Those who have developed their jealousy, their anger, their hatred, ill will, enmity in their previous birth, the next birth they become very ugly. Not necessary to wait until they die to see the ugliness. When a person is very angry, look at the face, how ugly it is. More than enough to understand. Horrible looking. The mind completely changed. The eyes and the color of the face also changed. And very fierce. How the mind can change. Hear what the Buddha says. Those who have developed only jealousy, anger, ill will, enmity, all these evil forces in the mind, in the next birth become very ugly or distorted figure or very unpleasant. And why some people are very pretty and handsome, although parents are not pretty? Then the Buddha said, those who have developed kindness, compassion, sympathy towards other living beings, in the next birth they become very handsome, very pretty, very pleasant. It is true. Especially, this is a very good news for ladies. They can save a lot of money that they spend for cosmetics. If they develop kindness, compassion and sympathy towards others, in the next birth, no need to buy any cosmetics. Natural beauty is there. But you don't take this so seriously, that's the whole trouble. You are willing to spend money to beautify, but you cannot develop your kindness, compassion and sympathy. This is the answer given by the Buddha to the lady Visakha and to this young man. People become very soothing, appealing, pleasant looking within this lifetime. There is no cruelty, jealousy, anger, ill will, hatred in that mind. But kindness, compassion, then the result is 11 kinds of result. Buddha has pointed out. If you develop these good qualities within this lifetime, you can see, you can experience 11 kinds of good results. Sukhang Supati, can sleep very well, no need to take sleeping tablet. If we practice this kindness and compassion. Sukhang Patibujjati, can get up at any particular time that you want to get up, but you feel you are very fresh. If you practice this, very fresh. Napapakang supinang passati, no nightmare, no horrible dreams, never appear in that way. Because no chance to influence the wicked things, because the kindness and compassion developed in the mind completely covered, protected the mind. No nightmare. Manussanam piyo hoti. All the other human beings, irrespective of their race or color or religion, they like this person. They love this person who really practices this. Because appearance indicates some virtues and goodness in him or her. Manussanam piyo. Amanussanam piyo hoti. Not only human beings. Amanusya. Non-human beings. Animals, snakes, spirits, devils, ghosts, never disturb. Never disturb. And there is no reason for you to be scared of devils or ghosts if you really practice this kindness, compassion. Animals also come closer to us because they get that feeling. We are harmless. Now they don't like to come nearer to us. They know we are dangerous. They go to other animals, but never come to us. Scared of us. So when we develop this, other living beings also become very friendly. And a snake and fierce animals also never harm, never disturb. And spirit, devil, ghost also never disturb. They go their own way. Devata Rakhanti. Protection from the devas. When we radiate loving kindness and compassion, we radiate this to the whole universe, that mental vibration. Devas also get this feeling. And then they keep an eye on for us to avoid certain misfortune, accidents and some problems, etc. Devata protection from the devas. If we are virtuous. I told you so many times that Sakra, the king of God, also respect human beings. He said, Ye Gahatha Punyakara Silavanta, Upasaka, Dhammena Dharam Posenti, Tam Namassami. I respect them. Sakrasi. Who are those human beings? We worship Sakra and God, but we do not know. They worship us if we are virtuous. We do not know that. He said, Ye Gahatha Punyakara, those who perform meritorious deeds without doing bad things. Ye Gahatha Punyakara, Silavanta, those who observe some religious principles. Upasaka, those who lead a noble life, harmless life. Dhammena Dharam Posenti. They support their families by earning in righteous way, respectable way, harmless way. I respect them. Devas also respect. Now that is why here the Buddha says, Devata Rakshanti. We get protection from Devas. Not necessary to worship them. When we are virtuous, when we are good, when we are kind, we get protection from Devas. Nasa Agniva Visangva Sattangva Kamati. We get the chance to escape from fire, weapons and poisons. All sorts of destruction take place from time to time in certain countries. Thousands and thousands of people die, either due to poisons or fire or weapons. Those who develop their kindness and compassion radiate this towards others. Somehow or the other get the chance to escape from that destruction. Mukhavanno vippasidati. Mukha means face. Vanna means color, complexion. Vippasidati, bright. The complexion of the face can see some sort of radiant complexion. Because of the purity in the mind, reflects. Mind is pure. No dirty, wicked, cruel ideas in the mind. Always kindness, compassion, smiling face. Therefore, face becomes very, very beautiful, radiant. Asammullo kalam karoti. This is also very important. When they are going to depart from this world, they die peacefully, without worrying, without crying, without fear, but with hope and confidence, without creating any confusion in the mind. Very peacefully they depart from this world because of this development of virtue. Last one. Uttaring appati vijjanto brahmalokupago. If that person has not attained arahanta or sainthood, rebirth will take place in one of the Brahma, not as human beings, higher than Deva. The nature of this Brahma world, the life is, they are not crazy for worldly pleasures. They discipline their senses experience calmness, bliss, satisfaction in their mind. So no trouble, no violence, no arguments, nothing. Completely peaceful life. These kind of 11 results Buddha has introduced. If we really practice, within this lifetime, not necessary to wait until we die. According to our own experience, we can understand. When we extend our kindness, not only to human beings, but to animals, even the wild animals also develop their relationship and friendship and they trust us. What about the human being? When others come to know that we are kind, we are harmless, then they never disturb us. But if there is anything that they can do for us, for our benefit, they will do that because of our kindness. That is why the Buddha said, Manussanam piyo hoti. Other human beings also like us. Never disturb us. This is the way how to practice a religion. These are the things that we have to do. Simply by performing all sorts of ceremonies, we cannot say we are religious. If one of these qualities are not in our life, if not developed in our mind, then some people are very strong, very dynamic, energetic, courageous. Yes, there are. Some others are very weak, cannot do anything. Whole lifetimes like that. Then the Buddha gave the answer. Why some are very brave and energetic, very strong? Because they have given their moral support in whatever manner, verbally, mentally, or physically. When others are suffering from fear, worries, insecurity, disturbances, they go and give their support. Because of that, they get the chance to get rid of the fear, the worry, the suspicion. That is a very good support. How many people are suffering from this kind of thing? Fear, worries, suspicion, and insecurity feeling. So if we can wipe out these weaknesses from their mind, disturb their whole life, in return, the Buddha says we get energy. Later we can divert this energy also to do more better service to us, without misusing, without abusing this energy. Physical energy and mental energy. Again, why some people are very weak, physically and mentally? Because they have created a lot of disturbances in others' mind. They have created fear, worries, suspicion. Because of our behavior or because of our way of talking Purposely we have created these disturbances. The result, that we become very weaker and weaker, physically and mentally. We never think all the evil deeds, either verbally or physically, what we commit, the bad effect reflects, returns to us. We cannot escape. Then, why some people are very famous, very popular. People respect them. But many others, nobody cares. What is the reason? All are human beings. People become popular, very famous, when they support, when people are in trouble, when they were disturbed by various other sources. Give complete moral support, confidence. It is a meritorious deed. So in return, we become very popular and others listen to us. But there are some others, nobody knows about them, nobody cares for them. When they are in trouble also nobody wants to attend to them. The reason is they have not done anything in their previous life. We cannot develop our human life without serving others in this way, without religion. This is philosophical interpretation. Humane qualities based on cooperation, unity, harmony, understanding with each other. Chinese philosophy says relationship with human beings is better than the relationship with God. Because those days Chinese are not very interested about concept of God. But human life, they respect. He says, develop our relationship with human beings. Then we can see the good result immediately. Relationship with God, only imagination or belief. You can practice and see. Develop your relationship with your neighbors, your friendship and understanding and goodwill. You can see the result. Then, some are intelligent. From their childhood we can see. Some children are very intelligent. Some others, nothing. They cannot study, they cannot remember, they cannot understand. Forever they remain as dullard or stupid. Very unfortunate. To this question, the Buddha has given this answer. Those who have imparted their knowledge for others to be good, just like teaching religion or giving education, to improve their knowledge and understanding. The next birth, they become more intelligent because they have contributed, they have done something for the development of the human mind. when we preach, when we teach, without any salary or any ulterior motive, just as a service, with kindness, then it will become meritorious indeed. So I have been shouting here for the last 30 years. I am not working for a salary. I do not expect even a red packet from you. There's the collection tin that is for the publications. Whatever we receive, now we are going to print about nearly 30 items of booklet, all out of print. So in the next birth, I am sure, I'll become more intelligent. And I have no idea of going to heaven. I can tell you very frankly, I am not interested. I want to be here. I want to be with you. Heavenly life is not very important for me because there is no chance to develop the mind. Here, as human beings, we have more chances to develop the mind, intelligence. So the Buddha's advice is, contribute something within your understanding. You know that 4 stages of life that I explained to you. I think better to repeat again and again all these things. Always there are some newcomers also. Saisave Pyasta Vidyana. When we are young, spend our lifetime only for study. Don't get involved with any other external activity. Interrupt your education. Concentrate only on your study. Yavane Visayesina. After completion of your education, when you attain your age as youth, you can experience worldly life. Because very impatiently you are waiting. That is why you cannot stop this thing even while you are studying. But you must have tolerance. And then you can enjoy worldly life. Religion never say you can. No religion in this world. But respectable way, harmless way, you can enjoy your life. Worldly life, sensual pleasure. No one can say you are wrong. After that, Vardhake Munivrittina. After middle age, you have to reduce your sensual pleasure. Because now you have more knowledge, more experience, maturity, understanding. Through your trials and errors or the mistake that you have done earlier, you have seen the result. Now time has come for you to impart this experience, this knowledge to others. Young people who are misled by others. Maturity is there. Therefore, reduce too much of enjoyment. Devote your time to guide others, to teach others. Very practical. Because as youth, it is not so easy to convince others because they haven't got much experience about worldly life. So I have written that book, Happy Married Life, few years ago. I have become a monk when I was 12 years old. Then people ask this question, how do you write a book about happy married life? So many people ask this question. Then I told them, only unmarried person can do that. Not a married person. Married person either hate their marriage life or become slave to their marriage life. One who in between can see both sides. That's correct. Now translating it to many other languages, that book. Even in America, we got a letter asking permission to translate into Vietnam language. In Sri Lanka, they have printed already in Sinhalese. So these books are very important to many other countries. So, use this knowledge, experience. Experience means through observe. When you observe unbiasedly, you can see things properly. That is called experience. So when we contribute this knowledge to develop others' mind, we also develop our knowledge and intelligence and understanding. So when we are lazy, when we do not contribute anything for the benefit of others, to improve their knowledge or understanding or education, it is not so easy for us to become intelligent. These are the differences. These are the causes. These are the reasons. Not the God or devil. That means we are solely responsible for our pleasure, for our happiness, for our prosperity, for our failure, for our good health, for our long life, or for everything. It depends how we handle our life. That is why we have to learn these things. So you are here to know how to handle this life in a respectable way, without harming and disturbing others. But by doing some service to others, then we also cultivate our way of life, irrespective of our religion, or race, or color, or anything. All are human beings. Whatever imagination, whatever belief, whatever concept we have, these things are immaterial. First we have to understand we are human beings. The purpose of our living is to do some service to others. When you do some service to others, we develop our way of life. Otherwise, we cannot develop. So the advice given by the Buddha, Punyante Puriso Kaira, Kaira Tetam Puna Puna. Again and again you have to do this kind of services, meritorious deeds, because they are important as long as we exist in this world, in this samsara, until we attain our aim of life or the final goal. That is called Nibbanic bliss. Thank you very much.